Hi, I'm Tony Case from Lupus Hope, and today I was going to be making gluten-free vegan pizza dough. And what I wanted to do first, though, is show you how to strain the almond milk. What I did yesterday was I soaked some almonds overnight, put them in my Blendtec blender, about a cup per 2 cups of water, because I like my almond milk thick when I make a recipe. And then I put it in a mason jar to sit overnight, and now I'm going to strain it and get out all the juice or milk, almond milk, from the almonds. And I do that through a really fine sifter. If you don't use a fine sifter, the large pieces of nuts will come through, or bigger pieces of nuts than you want in there. Okay, so for this recipe we're going to add a cup of garbanzo bean flour. We add a cup of potato starch and a cup of arrowroot. You could also use tapioca for the arrowroot. We just prefer the flavor of arrowroot. And then you add a teaspoon of salt. And I use sea salt when I'm using salt in general. Okay, that's the dry ingredients. You give it a whisk. Then you add a cup of non-dairy milk. Today I'm going to be using almond milk. 6 tablespoons of almond oil. You can use any oil that you prefer. Then after you add the wet ingredients, just give it a stir. Again, don't stir it too often. My daughter always yells at me at this point that you don't stir it too much. You just want to get it wet. And if there wasn't enough, a lot of times there isn't enough almond milk, so you add a little tiny bit more. Thank you, Thing.
The bowl just floated over to you.
You want to make sure that this is like almost the consistency of a thick pancake batter. You don't want to make these so big that the middle doesn't cook. So they're supposed to be mini pizza bases, but they can be made small into crackers though too, and I'll show you that also. Okay, once the batter is put on the tray, what you can do is you can top this with whatever you like. Any delicious pizza toppings you want, vegetables, sauces, whatever you like to put on. A blueberry pizza, cherry pizza, sometimes we'll put some cinnamon sugar on top. It's so versatile, this type of thing. I've also made little tarts. I take a little tart shell and put some cinnamon, sugar, and some apples, and it's like a little apple tart, and this gets to be a little, almost like a cake. You can also add flavorings to this if you wanted to. You could add Italian seasoning to it if you like that kind of thing. And if you're dairy-free, use soy cheese or use some type of vegan cheese. You could also put, I've used raw food nut topping as like crumbs for cherry pizza, and use them in between with, and the raw nut would be, the raw nut topping would be with raw nuts and cinnamon, dates, and you just sprinkle it in between, and that ends up like a delicious pizza also. Also, one of my daughter's favorite toppings for the pizzas is making a dessert pizza and mixing up a little bit of margarine or butter, depending if you need to be dairy-free or not. A little bit of margarine, or you could use coconut oil if you want to do that, with brown sugar and cinnamon, and then a little bit of chocolate chips, and dairy-free, gluten-free chocolate chips, and you put them on top of the pizza. So there's so many different things you can do with this dough. It's just like a a pizza slash cake-ish dough that you can do anything with. These pizzas will bake, pizza bases, or once you put the toppings on, bake in the oven at 400 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes, and until just browned if you want them browned, or you can do them a little bit later, either way, as long as they're cooked through. These are the pizzas that we came up with, and it is morning, so we didn't do regular sauce and cheese and vegetable pizzas. We're having pretty much breakfast pizzas. We have a cherry pizza with frozen cherries, but you can use fresh when it's in season. Blueberries from the farm stand. They are frozen, but we're saving them in the freezer, but they are from the farm stand. We have some raspberries from the grocery store, and we have brown sugar cinnamon chocolate chip. These are going to go into the 400 degree oven for 10 to 15 minutes, and they're going to be delicious. These are then once these are on the tray, like they are, then you want to bake them at 400. Stop!